All right, welcome to the Adulting for Real podcast. My name is Natalie, Ouma.
And I'm Stacey, Kemo.
And if you're adulting, trying to adult, this is the podcast for you. So before we actually get into our topic for today, we want to discuss a couple of things that you probably want to know, like why did you even start this podcast? Who are we and how did we meet? So, Stacey, why did we start this thing?
I mean, like any other young adult in Nairobi, I think I had gone to a point where I was just trying to understand some things. I had just come back from the States and I was like, this adulting life is just too hard. Am I the only one who is struggling with these things? So obviously with my friends, Natalie and other people, we were having very interesting discussions about life and things that are affecting us. So that's how we came up with the idea.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I feel like also there's a sense of like community that's lacking, because when you're trying to adult, especially in your early 20s, you feel like you're the only person who has not figured adulting out.
It's true.
You know, so the thing with starting a podcast is to find a place where you can at least have a community. Somebody can understand, hey, you are not by yourself. Somebody else is also trying to adult, and we are trying to figure this thing out together. We are also the most talkative people out here, to be honest. I mean, if you ask anybody, we cannot keep quiet.
The correct term is long-winded.
I didn't know.
It sounds bad ukisema talkative. Long-winded.
It's true. So, this is the perfect outlet for us, to be honest. Which brings us to kind of like who we are and which is a complex question in itself. Hey. But who is Natalie? So there's the career version of me. So we can say like I'm an interior designer, an urban designer, an urban technologist, wrapped in a creative. I'm just out here multitasking in life. And yeah, so I'm a young professional, basically, just starting out a business. I freelance right now, seeking to adult in employment. If
there's anyone seeking to employ interior designers,
they hit me up at Tembea Diaries.
Yeah.
Find me on Instagram somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, my adulting journey has been slightly different in terms of career. I think self-employment had always been in my spirit since I was in college. So, professionally, I'm a pastry chef. That's what I went to study in school together with hotel management. But right now I'm running my own home-based business called Sweet Spirit Bakery, and I'm just getting into DIYs. I realized I'm actually pretty decent, and my friends have been encouraging me. So that's what I'm doing and pursuing now. So stay tuned to some DIY projects from Stacey, Kemo. From a personal standpoint, who is Stacey? I don't know. I love Jesus. I try and live like Jesus. That is my goal in life. And
imagine,
I try and bring a smile to everybody I go by. That is basically who I am, Natalie. From a personal standpoint.
I would say like I've narrowed it down to, if I wasn't doing a career, I think I would say I'm an encourager. That's it. Like, I feel like that is the one thing that brings me joy. Even if I was not doing work, if I could, sometimes I even consider being a personal coach, just so I can encourage somebody. It just, it brings a pep in your step. You're like, trying to help people adult while you're also adulting. But yeah, I would say, in general, I'm an encourager. I'm going to be really spiritual now. I am born again. And
hallelujah.
I love the Lord.
Those who know that one.
If you know, you know.
Anglican.
If you know, you know. But then if you know, you know. Yeah, so I'm just out here trying to live this Christian life, and while also being in the workplace. So that's kind of who we are and what we do in a nutshell. How did we meet? Stacey started so.
No, it was December 2015. In fact, we had gone for a camp, Semper Fidelis.
Mombasa.
Hey, lakini Mombasa. Those who went to Semper Fidelis, comment in the comment section. as we reminisce on that camp, it was one of the most interesting experiences we had. But in that experience, that's when I met Natalie with her sister Melanie and her brother Terence. And that's how we started. We're in the same Bible study group. We never even interacted much, actually.
We did. Me, I just knew there's this chick in BS that likes to talk a lot like me. Because I always used to be that chick. Oh, you are talking a lot. Oh, you are saying too much. Give people room. I said, how? I am not the only one.
So basically, that BS, we were the ones who used to comment, and I was the BS leader. So that was the question. Then I comment, then we move on.
Basically,
that was how it was. So yeah, and then just as life would have it, I fell in love with her brother, Terence Ouma.
Exactly.
And that's how the relationship started.
The rest is history. But then I don't even know when we became friends. It was like, at some point, it was
it was Shadow's graduation. That's when we interacted. I helped you with your exam. You were studying for an exam during Shadow's graduation.
Is that really how it happened?
And then we kind of built a relationship there. But that was like months into me dating Terence.
Like...
Because even when you came to our place, when I came to your place for the send-off, remember in January now, 2016, we never interacted that much.
No, we didn't.
So it started definitely after I started dating your brother that we started getting close. Then we used to talk for hours. In fact, it was outrageous.
It was outrageous. It's not even a lie.
Yeah, that's how we met, and that's how the relationship started, and it has never gone down since then.
No, it's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've known all of these things, we've discussed all of these, every episode will be having a segment that we call Food for Thought, which is basically quotes, statements, proverbs, African proverbs that have marked us in the week. And we just think it's a good thing to discuss them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So our first one, and the segment, by the way, is Food for Thought, but it's funke. Funke. If you know, you know.
You know when it sparks you just say funke.
Just like that. So this is our funke for the week. It's a statement. Shout out to Vu Church, Rich Wilkerson. That's where I got this from. But the quote he had was, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your system."
Hey, expound for us that one.
Let me say it for the people in the back. Let me say it for the people in the back.
The people in the back.
You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So what he was trying to say is, between you and a beggar, between you and anybody, by the way, like, there's nobody who wakes up in the morning having mediocre goals.
Yeah.
Everybody's out here trying to have goals, set goals and meet them. But the truth is, you ultimately fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like your habits?
Your habits. So you can say that, okay, like, I want to be an engineer, but like, you have no discipline in studying.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So there's no way you're going to get there because your systems are not in place. And I think sometimes it's even like more micro than that. Because I think we make this habit thing to be bigger.
Yeah.
Sometimes my system for me is like, I do a micro thing. So for example, with guitar playing, I do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I schedule 10 minutes a day, and then I know that I will reach a goal eventually. Does that make sense? Because a lot of times you don't focus on the micro habits, and it's like the small things you do ultimately add up to the big things. But you wake up in the morning, you just say, I want to learn the guitar. Yeah. And now you're saying this week, Sijui, we're learning Sijui what chords, which keys. But ultimately, you have to set up systems and have that discipline of like, every day at this time I'm doing it, which is difficult.
To be honest, I feel like that is also definition of adulting, to be honest, because really the discipline that comes with the habits that you put in place, waking up every morning and setting your bed, waking up every morning and cooking, waking up every morning and like that discipline is basically what sets you up, to be honest, to be a successful adult.
It's true. You fall to the level of your systems, and I've seen it the other way around as well.
Yeah.
Like my coping mechanisms as well fall into it. So if Netflixing, binge watching, like for me that's a system. I'm not gonna lie. Like for me, I realized like, when he said that you fall to the level of your system, I'm like, dang, it's not a lie. Because
the amount of time you spend on Netflix.
Let me tell you, it's possible I've watched the whole of Netflix. It's possible, the whole of it, with my own eyes. So, I think that's a system I revert to, because ultimately, like, when things get thick, I'm like, we're just gonna watch some Netflix.
Yeah.
But like, that system, is it really helping me ultimately? No. It's not helping me achieve the goal, but I'm always falling back to the level of that system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but it needs so much unpacking. But to be honest, like, I'm trying to kind of internalize this in my life at this point and be like, critically thinking about the systems habits, I have. You know, because you don't think about them. There are things that are just
even waking up, like for me, I think that waking up early, especially as an entrepreneur, and you have like time, you can manage your own time, you can manage what you do, you can manage all these things. You're just like, I will wake up at 11, you know, like, and funny enough, I wake up maybe at 7 a.m. and then go back to sleep, and then now the day starts. You know, because to be honest, I'm not a morning person. But I think even in that day, even as I'm doing that Netflix, I make sure I'm like right now I'm doing like a crochet project, or I'm knitting, or I'm baking, or something. So like as I'm doing the Netflix, I am doing something else that that is low-key adding value to my life. Because I think I felt that thing of like, you just sit down and watch a whole series the whole day, and you're like, so the day has just gone like that. Just like that. And you'll never get it back again. Yeah, so it's really something. It's really something.
So now let's give these guys the topic.
On to the topic.
We are already on top of it, to be honest.
It's true.
So the topic of the day is, what is adulting? What is it? We are trying to figure out what it is.
If you know what it is, hit us up on the comment section. Even as we are trying to yes, hit us up, adulting_for_real on Instagram. Hit us up and tell us what you think.
Yeah, what is adulting? Because we don't know. But so we were asking ourselves, actually, like, how did we imagine adulting to be as children? You know?
Yeah, no, I think for me, adulting was just, you know, living in a 2-story house. That is like, you've made it in life. In fact, the other day I was telling you how even having a water dispenser for me. Anyway, you know, just back in the day, I don't know if people remember, in like the early 2000s, the 90s, people used to boil water to drink. There was nothing like a water dispenser. Like, you've made it in life when you have you just press the button and the water comes out. That was adulting, like, for me. And then relaxed hair. I think for me, relaxed hair, because my mom really relaxed her hair when we were younger. So that was like the epitome. You have now reached.
Yeah, no, for me, adulting, I knew. My adulting notion from elementary to middle school to high school was shaped by Sex and the City. Let's not even lie.
And what are you doing watching Sex and the City at that age?
You know, the things we watched were very inappropriate.
As you were refused, what are, in fact, I didn't even know about that show until
are you serious? No, that show we used to watch in elementary school. But you know, we didn't even understand what was happening, because to be honest, like, that show is outrageous. But like, I didn't know half the things we're talking about. You know, the way you just watch it.
The fashion, that's what you care about.
Me, I knew adulting is when I would be wearing pumps to work, being fashionable with a really expensive handbag. Nimefika, that is adulting. That is, I knew that is what adulting means.
Yeah.
When you just dress up in the morning, wear your clothes, go to work, come back. What you are doing is irrelevant.
In between, we don't know.
No, adulting was really about being fashionable in heels.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to think, I'm so excited to be an adult, I'm just gonna wear heels for the rest of my life.
Are you serious?
Yes. I just knew that was adulting. That is adulting.
Oh my gosh.
But the reality on the ground, as we have noticed.
So then we move on to high school. We went to high school. But I think for me, my life was a little bit peculiar, because I think by the time I was around 9, I already started developing a passion for like baking. I used to watch a lot of Martha Stewart growing up. So like in my mind, I already knew this is what I wanted to do in life. How it was going to translate is where the confusion came in at some point, you know. So by high school, I already knew I wanted to be a chef. In fact, you know, we had this thing of, what do you think someone will be?
Yeah.
Everybody was like, chef. Everybody Stacey, chef, food and nutrition. In fact, I got an A in my finals. Chef. So I think for me, it was just owning a bakery, you know, just making moves, being the best in the world in my bakery things. So for me, that was just what I had imagined in high school. I was going to be.
Yeah, for me, I think high school was more climbing the corporate ladder. But in high school, I just thought, first of all, interestingly, initially I thought I was going to be a fashion designer.
Interesting.
I went to a bookstore once and I found this book. It's like a children's drawing book. It just had the silhouette. So you can color in the silhouette or you can draw on top of the silhouette. I was like, hey, yo kitu linibamba. I was like, this is life. Then I realized, low-key, you need to shona, you need to sew and things. I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I quickly switched to interior design. I think, that one, once I switched, it was like, bam, it was a wrap. This is it. And for me, adulting was like, I'ma be a boss. I used to watch Extreme Home Makeover. Let's actually do it. Extreme Home Makeover. Home edition. Home edition. Not to do weight loss.
No, that show was good. That show was lit.
Let me tell you. First of all, it was the epic. I thought that was adulting. Like in high school, I was like, I'm gonna do these massive homes. And then I was like, adulting means I'm gonna be like an interior designer traveling to Morocco to get tapestry. And I was gonna go to Dubai for like gold threading.
Oh my God.
And I just thought like this was my vision of life. I was just gonna be jet setting out here.
Yeah.
Finding intricate pieces for my clients.
So with that,
going to art shows, like listening to jazz, and then so that's what I thought. I was like, this is what it is going to look like.
But so with that in mind, like, what would you like now? As the age is age. As a 24-year-old telling you, let's say 15, 16-year-old self, like, what would you tell? Like, with that in mind, like what you've just said. What you had imagined and now, on the ground, the story on the ground.
Yeah, the situation on the ground.
Situation on the ground. What did you tell her, at 15, 16?
No, first of all, I would say the glamour is going to happen in its own time. Does that make sense? Because there's always this impression that like, the glow up is in your early 20s, which is like absurd.
It's
to be
a
honest.
lie.
Absurd.
Tolo. Shout out to Emanuela.
But like, it's outrageous. It's outrageous because you think that like getting out of school,
it's so true.
This is going to be the base for what you do. This is going to be the basis, and realistically, it's not. It's not. And I think also it depends on the environment, and you need to understand where you're going to be working and the pace at which you're going to be working. Because truthfully, honestly speaking, being African and coming back to the African market, the level of glamour is less. For example, like when I was in the US studying, it was very possible. Like we would go to Chicago. Shout out to the squad, Ekberg squad. We went to Chicago and we were like, let's go see what's happening on the ground and all of these events. So like basically in the US, if you're an interior designer, it's very glamorous because we have an association, they have like banquets, things. And then when you have like suppliers or like people that you're working with, interior designers love happy hour.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, I was put into this situation where you're like, you go, it's happy hour time, free drinks, free, like, and it's just what it was, you know? So you're like, it's the glamour, it's the glitz, you're always dressing up to go to work and stuff. And then the reality on the ground is different because now even, talking to my friends who worked in Dubai, for example, their reality is different. It's like it is like the other side of glamour. Like it's like glamorous and it's like snobbish and it's like now on the other side.
Like vanity now.
Vanity. And then in Europe, people are chill. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you need to understand the environment that you're in. And ultimately the glamour will arrive at some point, but you can't start there.
I think for me, it was, like what you're saying, you know, like the show, like now mine was more of MasterChef, you know, these cooking shows, you know, you're just like, yes, like we're just out here creating masterpieces with food but the reality on the ground. In fact, for me, the reality on the ground came about in my third year of uni when we had to do like internships, and then you realize how savage the workplace is and how like the shifts are so bad and how the work environment is bad and how there's even like sexual abuse and assault that happens even in the workplace, men and then it's like it's a very toxic environment. I know there's like people always say everywhere is like that, but I feel like this one accompanied with the work hours and the shifts and that's when I was like, hey, I think this is not what I had imagined to be, to be, you know, I didn't think of it to be like this. So that's when my mindset began changing. So I think to my younger self, I'd be like, it wouldn't be as great as you imagined it to be. I don't know if I would tell myself to get another degree because I think I still have the same passion that I had then. It's just try and build your I wish I started my business earlier. Let's just say that. I wish I started earlier, but I think I started early enough to at least allow me to get to where I want to be. So yeah, just knowing that the reality on the ground is different than the real thing, and you have to really work to make your dreams possible.
It's true. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Everybody wants to be a rock star, but nobody wants to practice. And that's the thing. It's like you don't realize the amount of work it will take for you to get there.
It's so true.
You don't realize how much, and it's not that it's not even fun work. It's just that you have to do the process of laying the ground, laying the foundations and all of those things to get to, where you need to be.
No, it's so true. It's so true. It's so true.
And also for us in corporate versus creative, I think it's different because for us who are both doing creative and corporate-ish type of gigs, as a creative, you kind of want an outlet. And I think for me, I imagine a certain level of freedom. Do you know what I'm saying? Because when you are in interior, you're like, man, I'm just going to go and do things. But ultimately, like, you have a client and you have branding and you have branding image and you have kind of like what the client expects and what fits with their brand and their aesthetic and all of those things. So it's like creativity, but stifled. Does that make sense? Like,
now, that's also a problem I had with the culinary industry, because it's like, you think there's a creativity, but basically you're producing the art of the person who, like the executive chef or whoever it is. So you're basically just a robot.
Basically. Yeah.
Cranking
out work. That's the same thing with interior design. Like, start a job, let me tell you, ukianza, once you start, it's like you draft. That's it.
Yeah.
Drafting is just as boring as it sounds. You draw. Like, you just make lines and draft stuff.
Yeah.
People will even tell you, we don't need your creative input. We just need you to draw. Does that make sense?
It's hard.
So you just, like, you realize the dues you have to pay at the beginning, like, really is kind of boring, to be honest, until you get to the fun part of, like, let's do creative stuff and let's tell other people to draw the stuff.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
So what did we wish we were taught?
By my parents. I wish they didn't gas me up as much as
What do you mean?
They were gassing you up. They were just gas. In fact, they buy you mixers. They gas you up. And of course, I loved the way they gassed me up until when I finished like my degree in baking and pastry management. And then when I came back and I was like, so guys, because even by the time I was coming back, I had already started Sweet Sweet Bakery when I was like still in uni. So when I went for my second degree, excuse me, when I started my second degree, I knew the plan was I come back and now I hit the ground running business, just just working on my business, right? But when I did my internship, they were like, so you can just decide, you can stay there and do something. I'm like, guys, didn't we know the plan from the get-go? And I had communicated the plan to them from the very beginning. I was like, guys, me, I want to do biashara. This is what I'm doing. I want to do business. Like, this is the plan. And for me, in my mind, I thought if I start early, I kind of like set them up slowly to like psychologically prepare themselves. But clearly, they thought it was a hobby I was doing. So after gassing me up, then the reality sets in of like, now you're getting married. You need to do this. Blah, blah, blah. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, me even being in business has put into account the fact that I'm getting married and what I want for my life and my family and everything. So I think I low-key felt cheated and duped because I was like, you guys were not serious. You were just gassing me up for nothing. Just bust my bubble and tell me that now I just need to work like the average, So I was just like, okay, guys, this is not working. But I think, for me, I feel like that would have been the most thing. I think it's good to gas your kids up if you're really genuine about them doing what they are passionate about, because I think if you gas them up and then eventually you tell them no, you just have to follow this path, it kind of like disorients them to some extent.
Yeah. For me, I don't actually know the answer to that question. What did I wish I was taught? I think ultimately, I feel like I was well prepared. Does that make sense? Because I my parents kind of are strange in the sense that they are very supportive for African parents. And there was always like this sense of do what you're passionate and good at and called to.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing, Some of the things that you should learn to do in the workplace, I think maybe for me, it's more like finding your own voice in the midst of workplace conflict. Am I making sense? Like, there's a sense in terms of like being prepared motivation wise, being prepared mentally wise, being prepared like being gassed. Like, in fact, my dad just gassed me up today. You know what I'm saying? So
right before the podcast.
Right before the podcast, in fact, you know. So in that sense, like, they're very prepared. But I think in terms of like finding your own voice in your personality, in what you bring to the table, I think that's where I feel like I wish somebody had said something.
Finding your own voice in the midst of workplace
conflict and things, because it's like now you need to adult and be able to like conflict resolve. And for me, it's like not even what I consider conflict, most people consider normal. Yani, if you consider me, if you do something wrong, if you do something off color, if you not even if you, I find it very difficult to correct you.
Yeah. Even our friendship though, no, like
it's very difficult. I'm like, I can't. It's like I before, if I've corrected you, if I've said, by the way, this thing that I need to talk to you about, I've been thinking about it for 3 weeks. Like, by the time that content has come out,
and me and the temp person, it happens today we are sorting it out.
It has to, like, you know, so that's the thing for me. It's like finding your own voice. For me, that would be the thing
in the midst of conflict.
So to finish, we should do basically, you say how I'm adulting, and how I say how you are adulting.
Look, you know, the moment I met Natalie Ouma, I was just like, this chick is like just doing the most. I was honestly, she was like low-key my role model. And I was just like, cause we met when she was still in SCAD design school, and she was like, she just seemed like she knew her life. Like, she knew what she was doing with her life. She knew where she was going. She knew, like, very spot on in terms of where she was going, even the project she was doing, like out here just getting design awards. I was like, Natalie.
I knew I was adulting.
Hey, I was like, Natalie. Hey.
I knew I was adulting. These days, better.
So, like, in my mind, I was like, I had never, like, I feel like even Natalie can adult perfectly even when she's not working. Like, she just looks like her life is just very seamless. Even, like, so, yeah, like, very put together, even when we're even doing this, what do you call it? Like, what do you call that thing? For the podcast?
The show notes.
Not the show notes, like, the partner something.
Partner relations package.
Hey,
yes.
You know, she came out here with PowerPoint, colors. I was like, let me just use that for my business. Just lock it to me. I will use it for my biashara. Because I was like, so for me, I think she just comes across as someone who has everything like put together. Even if it's a struggle, like you struggle with class, you know, there's just something about it.
Imagine. Meanwhile, me, I'm like, what is adulting? What is this thing? But you know, Stacey, for me, I was like, she was adulting from the jump, because I always thought like my goal in life was to amwa and to just say, I am starting a business and to do it. You know, just like the thing of being an entrepreneur and actually not for kicks. Like, you actually are out here, you have a website.
Oh my gosh.
You have a social media account that you're posting. I'm just looking at you posting social media content, like, how, what is life? First of all, I'm so bored right now. Like, how, me and this thing of like marketing your stuff, I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, in terms of adulting, I can't deal. This chick is out here just starting a business while she's in college. Like, who freaking does that?
Look,
who freaking does that? Time goes out to say, when we are reaching our 40s, in our retirement age, as we seek to just calm down, we will start something. This chick is just out here. Look, we are starting a...
No, but to be honest, even like with the phone call you're telling me today about a prospective employer, like, Loki, I was just like, she's just making moves in life. And I'm just here. Aki, I promise. I was like, she's just out here making moves. Like, because you see, the unfortunate thing is, back to the corporate and creative thing, as a creative, you are still like, you are not really doing anything with your life, especially when you're starting out.
Yeah.
Like, there's that perception that you are in fact, I think I even have some relatives right now. I don't talk to them because I'm like, that energy is a little bit too toxic for me at this season of my life, because I feel like they don't see the vision and they don't see where I'm trying to go. So like there's that feeling that when you're looking for a job, in fact, the time I was just going Googling jobs, what jobs can I do? You know, like digital marketing, you know, all these things, because you're like, there's that level of pressure where it's like you are deemed a better adult if you are employed.
It's true. It's not even a lie. Even me, so that's my struggle right now, actually. So I'll update you guys as we go. Because right now I'm freelancing. And the thing for me is like, it's not even me that's like adulting. God is adulting for me, because to be honest, guys, I didn't even apply for a job. That's a story for another day. But, you know, somehow God just makes things work out in a certain type of way, even when you're unprepared in so many different ways. But to be honest, like, for me, even Stacey, because I was telling her before, I'm like, you are writing an invoice, you know, receipts. Yeah, you have receipts, you have like,
but you learn so many things.
To me, that's like, oh my God, that's like the epitome of adulting.
But the level of mistakes I've made.
Engaged. Do you know, to be engaged? Okay, the PMCC, that is your adulting.
In fact, we are finished.
PMCC is adulting.
For those who don't know, PMCC is premarital counseling. But yeah, no, I understand. But I don't know. Sometimes I low-key feel like I'm also going way too fast. Like there's a part of me that also feels like, because I have like friends who like I was in kindergarten with, and we went out for dinner like a few weeks ago, and my friends were like, guys, me, I just want to be married when I'm 30. And I'm like, so they're out here just freaking out like, how are you getting married? So yeah.
Anyway, so that is the sum up of adulting. So I don't know if we've answered the question of adulting for you guys, but you know, keep the question going. Mm-hmm. This is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, let's hear what your definition is, what you grew up thinking it was, the reality on the ground, you know, all those things. Would love to hear from you guys.
So we are moving on to our next episode, which at the end of each episode we'll be asking this question: how's your heart? Because, you know, truth be told, nobody asks you that question. And in this adulting life, we are all pretending to be adulting, but nobody's adulting. Everybody's trying to be so put together, and nobody asks you those critical questions.
Yeah.
So how's your heart? It's just catching up. How has been your week? How has been your 2 days? How is life treating you?
Yeah. I think for me, in that season of just working as unto the Lord, in a sense, where it's like, whatever I'm doing, let me just do it as unto the Lord. Because at some point I was getting to a point of like depression, where it's like your identity is literally pegged on how many jobs you have. Mm-hmm. Like how, like you do the wedding, there's the hype around it, and then after that you're like, it's quiet for like a few weeks, a few days, and you're like, I'm a useless human being. Mm. So, and that's actually how I got back to crocheting, because I have so many skills that I have, but it's because you feel like it doesn't bring monetary value. Mm. So you're like, no, those are not important, you know, because I play the guitar, I crochet, I knit, I paint. I even inspired my mom to start painting. And she's really doing the most. So as in you realize, if you do it as unto the Lord, you'll find more joy in life than the monetary value, because sometimes we peg our value to how much we earn or what we are doing at that moment in time.
Yeah, it's true. For me right now, gosh, this week, actually, as of even last week as well, though it's been rocky, to be honest, because now I'm getting to that point where I'm like tuning things out. I don't know what I need to process. You know, there's a point of like, you know, there's a problem, but you don't know what you need to process. Like, and my default is always like, let us either do the most and work the most, mm-hmm. or like numb the content. Mm. Like me, I'm a binge watcher to death. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
YouTube videos. I think I learned you and YouTube. Hey, like even those YouTube series, I'm just like,
let me tell you. Like if I'm not trying to think about something, I'm like, no, because right now it's really tricky for me, because I'm trying to figure out what being in Nairobi looks like, because I've just been back since August. Mm-hmm. I'm also trying to figure out like, what is employment? Yeah. And to be honest, I'm also trying to figure out what is dating in this Nairobi. Mm-hmm. Is it a thing? Mm-hmm. I'm even trying to figure out if dating is a thing I should be doing at all in life, in general, basic point. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, because there's this guilt tripping of like, you need to be in a relationship,
Yeah.
but you don't need to be thinking about a relationship. You know, in Christianity, they say a lot like, when you're content with your life,
He will appear.
yeah. So it's like, so you need to be wanting to be married, but you need to be content not to be. You know, it's like,
It's complicated.
it's like, it's
And I know the
weird.
precedence of that conversation. It happened on Sunday, right?
I was just like, it's like what? No, but actually it has been brewing for a while as well. Because to be honest, right now, I was that chick in high school. What is boys? What is boys? I'm like, who is here?
Even me, I was never like, I had crushes, but like,
Yeah, but like
I never took them seriously
at all, not on any level. I remember even I was asked and I was told, why do you not have a boyfriend? Like, why are you not interested in guys? I was like, these guys.
It used to be like, the right guy hasn't come yet.
Same.
Not the
I used to be
right
like,
guy.
look, none
Right guy.
of these people do the job. Look.
Yeah, it's true.
And I used to be like, so you want to take me out with your
Father's car.
father's car? with your allowance?
Your father's allowance.
So is you taking me out or is your parents taking me out?
Guys,
Me, I was a
Natalie
savage.
savage.
Am I dating you or your mother? You know? So I was like, it doesn't make sense. You are not dating, like you cannot even date me. It doesn't make sense. You are being allowed to date. Like it was, for me, I just thought it was very strange. I was like, how are we gonna date? You don't even have a job. Like, you know, which is different because now I moved to the States and like people work in high school. So I get the dating thing because it's like you are physically independent.
And you're adulting from 16 because that's when you get your driving license.
But still, I was like, who is boys? What is boys? Even college, low-key, I was like, oh, I see, man. Ooh. But like, I was not like, let me do this thing. I was like, guys, I don't have time. I knew.
Hey, but SCAD was also
it was time to study.
Yeah.
So I was not trying to do that. So now I'm like, I have finished studying.
So what next?
And now I'm like, dang, actually, low key, they're men.
They're men.
Like, men exist. You know, it's like I feel like I'm reaching puberty for the first time in my life. You know what I'm saying? But you be like, oh my God. You know, for this to be like, oh my gosh, guys.
Yeah.
They're like, this now makes sense.
That's
like,
when you are seeing
it's
the guys.
very strange.
Yeah.
I think that's for me in the last few weeks very strange because I'm like, I always say what are feelings because I'm like, what are feelings? Now I'm like, you can have feelings for boys. What?
And it's okay.
And you know,
the
strange
thing I don't like
when
is
you're
how...
24 to be in that place because it's true. Like African parents really destroy.
And that's what I was gonna say.
because-
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Because I feel like there's that thing of like no boys, no boys, no boys, and then you reach 25 and like, so where's the husband? And you're like, hold up. Like, are we just supposed to like find these people from just thin air? And before you know, you have grandchildren. Like, really, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's like, it's crazy. It's like, you are also conditioned to study and just see men in your peripheral vision. Like,
Those are friends you study with.
basically. You know what I'm saying? So like, you do all of this studying, and then it's like, you are 24 and you're like, man, like, low-key, am I behind the game? Do you know? Because like now you're like, people have been out here doing this thing for a minute, huh? But us, we are just still we have not reached, you know. So that's kind of where it's been like. Because now I'm trying to figure out like this part of adulting, like having feelings towards the opposite sex. It's very strange.
So you're trying to maneuver that one now.
It's a very strange feeling. Like I don't. I'm like, cooties. Like,
so now that will be in our segment, dating for real. It has not had real.
I swear it's such a problem, guys. I know the worst thing about it is like you would assume like, I'm very innocent. Like also like this and stuff. It's not that like. My life is very compartmentalized. I know some things were just in certain categories, and you'll be looking at guys and be like, you is fine, but like also, I'm also the type of person who is interested in your personality and not necessarily your looks, to be honest. Okay, I shouldn't say that.
What?
Mark my
You deleted the WhatsApp message. This people are always on my case for deleting WhatsApp messages. She has just deleted our WhatsApp message live on the podcast.
It'll come for me after the fact. Because I'm just thinking, like, if I say this, then God forbid my future husband listens to this podcast later. But like,
okay,
no.
it's okay. You're allowed to delete. Me, I understand deleting WhatsApp messages. It's okay. You delete it.
Anyways, that's kind of been the week in a nutshell. I've been doing no adulting whatsoever. I have been in bed from Sunday till right now, guys. Let me just be real. Honest
it's
with you
okay.
guys.
It's part of life.
You know, I would just be Netflix and Netflix and Netflix and Netflix.
Yeah.
But now I have to make it up for the rest of the week.
No,
so do you know what I'm saying? It's like now it's like all-nighters. I just need to think. I'm praying for my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so guys,
This is us.
This is adulting in its various and many forms. Yeah, so thanks for joining us.
And I'm happy that we were able to share part of our lives with you. So just share with us also on our social media. Don't forget to follow us on at tembea.diaries for Natalie's account, and Stacey Kemo for mine, and also adulting_for_real for the podcast's account. Comment, give us your comments, your feedback, whatever you think. And if you feel like you want to just DM us a question or even a suggested topic, you can email us at adulting, that's without a G, for real @gmail.com. Yeah,
That's it. So I guess we'll see you in our next episode. Once again, thanks for listening.